background we're going to simulate. So I'm going to keep this one close at hand so that we can do this one as well. All right, so I want to show you a couple of the elements before we paint. So remember when we did our lemon drop martini and we had cut out the martini shape, and then I added white glitter to the Shannon. Am I sick, Shannon? No, ma'am. I don't know why my voice sounds like this. I have no idea. It's not been the greatest day of my life, so I just am, it's just icky. So anyway, I put a little bit of glue right along the edge of my little piece of glass that I cut, and I had to cut 2 pieces because of the way you cut glass. And if you're in the Shattered Circle, we have all kinds of videos on how to cut glass, but basically you can't like cut in a circle. You have to cut in straight lines, edge to edge. And so I cut this piece like a long rectangle, and then I kind of cut off a little edge there, and then I used my wheeled nippers to kind of shape it the way I wanted it to be shaped. Same here, just cut a square, and then I drew on the curve and then nipped around the edge. But on this one, I went ahead of time and added salt to the rim. I don't know if you can see that, but I added salt to the rim so it would dry. Yay, Sharon! Woohoo! Big hearts for Sharon. Boom. Big hearts for you, love. I am so happy to hear that. But anywho, I went ahead and added the glitter to that for the salt so it could be drying while we work. So this is going to be the top of our Margarita glass, and this little other curved piece is going to be the bottom. So we're just going to push them together after we paint our canvas. Now I have another little chunk of the stringer glass that we're going to use for the stem. And no, it's not real salt, it is the glitter. It is the white glitter. I was already up here and I actually wanted to use real salt, but I didn't want to walk back downstairs. How's that for lazy? Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you, Mandy. So here is our bottom, and I pretty much did it the same way. I just cut a rectangle using my scoring tool, and then I just made it into a triangle and then nipped it out to make that shape. We're not going to leave the glass that way all crooked because then our margarita would spill out, but I'm just wanting to show you how cute this is. So I'm going to move this over because I want to show you what I have here. These 2 pieces are some snippets I got from a company, from an Etsy shop. She may be on here live. I'll let her say if she's here. But these are glass rings that have been fired, and then because they get misshapen, they just sell them and don't use them for, hey Jean, use them for scraps or whatever. So I purchased these, a whole box full of these little misshapen glass rings. Here's a great big one from Etsy. And so I use them in my art or for whatever. And this one was just like this, okay? I didn't do anything to it. It was just like this. And look, we are gonna make a line out of that right on the edge of our glass, right there. And then we're gonna use this one that was just like this down here at the bottom, and we're gonna make another half of a lime or a quarter piece of lime down here at the bottom and accent it with this cute thing. So is this not gonna be super fun? So think outside the box, use what you have, all that kind of stuff. If you look around the house, you're always gonna find something fun to use. Okay, so this was sheet glass from Hobby Lobby that I cut all of these parts out of. Okay, I'm gonna set those over here so it can continue to dry. And then this was a glass stringer I cut to edge. And these are just some little pieces. Thanks for the sprinkles. These are just some little pieces that came in a box of glass I bought. So let's get started. Let's get this party started. And I need to touch that real quick and do that so I can see. There we go. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is paint our canvas. Okay, so be patient with me. It's Friday and I got nowhere to go. So if you need to pop off and do something, go ahead and do that. Just come back and see me. You might catch the end and we might be here for a hot minute. Okay, thank you, Lisa. You're so sweet. So the first thing I'm gonna do is put some black and white on my plate. And I know this plate's super dirty and it's hard to see the color, but I like to use them until they're so cruddy that I can't use them anymore. So bear with me on that too. So I'm gonna use a little bit of black. So what I'm gonna do is get a brush. This one, this is just a 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch flats. I'm gonna wet it a little. Actually, I think I'm gonna get a stir stick. And so what I'm gonna do is I want to paint this gray first. Half off, Treehouse Studio. Good for you, girl. I'm gonna scoop up, I'm actually just gonna mix some black into that white. I'm gonna start with just a little bit because remember last time I got it too dark? This is probably perfect. Last time I got it a little too dark and had to fight with it a little bit, but I think this is gonna work. So we're gonna paint our canvas. That was just a teeny, tiny amount of black into our white. It's easier to put dark into light, so if you're trying to get a really pale blue, start with white and just put tiny dots of blue until it's the right color. If you start with blue and then try to add white to it, you're gonna end up with a 1/2 gallon of paint because it's hard to tint a light color starting with dark. So always start with the light color. So let's go ahead and I'm gonna paint this entire canvas. I think I'm actually gonna get this. It'll go faster. I wanna paint my entire canvas with this gray mix that I just made. Now what I wanna do first is make sure that I have my line. This is where, that's where our, I'm gonna actually do it with a little bit darker. That's where our line's gonna be, where we're gonna go from horizontal to vertical. A little dabble, do ya? Yeah, 4x12 works. Absolutely. So I'm gonna get this gray on. 4x12s they come in multi-packs at Michael's, which I love. And they're great on the holidays to make little Christmas trees out of, so. Oh, I was gonna tell you guys too, remember the craft-a-thon that I'm involved in about every couple months, seasonally, I guess. So that is happening again August 29th. We're doing a fall craft-a-thon. So I hope you guys will join me over there. I'll let you know when it gets closer. So now I'm gonna go this way. There's a little piece of fuzz or something there. Let's get rid of that. And I'm gonna try to tone that down a little. And then I'm gonna hit my sides really quick because we don't wanna leave those out. So I'm just gonna hit my sides so that it is ready to go. Almost done. Last side. I dipped into the black really hard, accidentally. Okay, so now everything's great, okay? So that's how we're starting. Now I'm gonna stick this in the water. That's gonna really dirty up my water fast. And I really want this dry before I do the next thing. So I am going to take 10 seconds. You guys talk amongst yourselves And I'm gonna blow dry this really quick so we can get on with it. Close your ears. Ooh, I blew everything on my table across the room, including glitter. So let's get this dry so we can move to the next step. Hey, Lisa. I need a margarita too. Seriously. All right, I think that's actually dry enough. It's pretty warm in here, so I think that'll work. So the next thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna use a palette knife. Let me make sure that one's nice and straight. And it's not because I'm terrible with my tools. Say hey to Leisha. That one's nice and straight. So I'm gonna come back over here and add more whites. Oh. Thought you were saying, Joanne or Catherine, you scared me. I thought you were saying that there was no sheet glass at Hobby Lobby. Freaked me out. I was about to have a heart attack. They had plenty when I was there, so hopefully that'll remain. Okay, so I'm gonna just take my palette knife now, and I am going to just lay it flat in to that white, so there's a pretty full coverage on the underside of that knife. And I'm just gonna start laying on some of this white, okay? You can tell my canvas is kind of warped. It's not tight, see how it's loose? That's why it's doing that skippy. It's kind of bowed down in the center a little, but we'll deal with that. It's okay. It happens. Might have to hit it with a little paintbrush real quick. Can be annoying. We'll get through it. So if your canvas, I think we talked about this previously too, if your canvas has this issue where it's not tight, it's not stretch tight, all you have to do is wet the underneath of it. Like take a spray bottle and just spray here and then let it dry and it'll tighten up. It's like shrinking your clothes. Shrinking that canvas up a little. So I'm just gonna keep laying out the white on top of that gray until I'm happy with how it looks. So just keep patting it on. Having a hard time getting it in the middle. Because it wants to lay down. I might have to use a paintbrush and then come back over it a little. Hang on one sec. So because it's bowed, I'm gonna try something a little different. I'm just gonna get some paint on my brush and we'll just pull some through those blank spots. And then we'll come back with our knife and just kind of lay it out. That's better. All right. So now down here, we're gonna do the same thing, but we're gonna go horizontal. So we're just gonna hit it. And go across until we get that coverage we want. That bowed area right in the center is driving me crazy. I should have checked for that before I got started, but I didn't. All right, let's do the same thing with the brush. So we're just gonna make some lines. I'm gonna add back a little bit of black to there. Wipe that off. I'm gonna make a line in my black, just hitting the edge of there really lightly, and I'm gonna make a little line into that black, kind of like that is over here. And this will lighten up as it dries too, so I'm gonna add some white. Hey Vicki, how are you? Let me lay this out a little. Might get a teeny bit of black or gray on there. So basically we're just creating a little bit of an interesting background, just a little bit of color on our background. I'm gonna go into that gray a little. Just bring some of it in. So you can just have a white background. You can do the background any stinking color you want. Whatever your heart desires. This is just what I wanted, so it doesn't have to be the same. All right, so, oops. We are ready to blow dry this again so we can keep moving. Look what I just did. Look what I did, y'all. I like popped that right off of there. So when we do our resin, somebody remind me to resin my thingy. I'm gonna leave it out so I can remember. Put that in the water. Happy Friday to you, love. Okay, so I'm gonna move that over here. I'm gonna blow that dry this really quick. It won't take but a few seconds because it's hotter than the sun in this room. Hang on. So excited about the Margarita. Let me pick this up a little. Super fun. So who is here for the first time? If you're here for the very first time watching, give me a big old heart. Yeah, it drives me crazy too. It's because they're cheap. Anybody here for the first time? Got a bunch of old friends. Okay, I think that's good. And it's not too bad. It's not too terrible. It's not perfect, but it's close enough to perfect for me, right? That's a country song. Oh, I got a couple hearts. Yay, welcome, welcome. So glad you're here. Thanks for being here. I need to plug in my phone because apparently I'm not prepared for anything today. Okay, hey Terry, thanks for being here. Hey Catherine, hey Sandra. Thank you ladies for coming. We love new viewers. We love you guys. Okay, so here is our background that we're gonna work with now. Hey Kim, welcome. You guys welcome all our new friends. I'm gonna take a little drink of my sweet tea. I know, it's Friday, I should be drinking something. But you gotta do what you gotta do. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is trace my martini glass back on here. Remember I told you I'd actually sketched it onto our canvas before I painted so that I could figure out where I wanted it to be, and then I traced it on tracing paper so that we could have an accurate portrayal. Now I just want to make sure I get it lined up where I want it to be, high to low. I think maybe come down a little, maybe up a little. I want to make sure it's about right like that. Okay, so I think that is good. So I'm going to move this over. Then I have, you're not new, Rima. I love Sonic Sweet Tea, and that's what I'm drinking. Okay, so I'm going to use yellow tracing paper. I'm just going to tuck it up under. And I bought this at the Friendly Neighborhood Walmart in the sewing department. You can get it at Hobby Lobby as well. They have it in their art department, not the craft department, the art department. And in the sewing department at Walmart. So I have traced this, and I sketched, and then I used my sketch to cut the glass, and then I used my glass to make the new little piece, so my sketch works out. So let's trace it over so that we make sure, because I'm going to paint our Margarita underneath the glass. Remember when we did the lemon drop, I painted the glass. This time I'm gonna paint the canvas. So we're gonna make our little lime here. And then for the lime that we're gonna do at the bottom, I can barely even see that. That's so crazy. For the lime we're gonna do at the bottom, I'm just gonna freehand, okay? So real quick, I'm gonna get my pencil and try to make this where I can see it a little bit better. So I'm gonna just give myself a little more something to look at. Especially here, where's my lime? Just want to be able to see that a little bit better. I should have used blue paper. Okay, I think that'll work. Okay, so now it's time to paint our margarita. It's going to be a lime margarita. But a strawberry would have been good. Maybe I need to make a strawberry margarita too. Oh my goodness. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I am actually gonna use a little bit of this bright, bright yellow, School Bus Yellow by Folk Art, and some white, which I already have on my plate. So I'm gonna get just a tiny amount of yellow. And then I'm also going to use this Hauser Green Light. So you know I don't like using just one color. Jalapeno margarita. That sounds fantastic. Hey Inga, how are you? How's baby? How's our baby? Okay, so I want to decide right now how far my margarita is gonna go up. So I think we're gonna go up to about, let's see, let's sketch it, about here, because I think somebody's been drinking some of it. So I think we'll take it to about here. And let's get a paintbrush. Let's see what we got here. We are gonna use, I'm gonna use this small, look at that. Are you kidding me? Oh my God. Okay, we'll put that one here. Oh, I'm sure she is. Oh my God. That is just my day today. Let's see. That one's good. Oh my Lord. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to add some white to the inside, just a little bit. My brush is damp. A little bit of white to the inside of our glass. Just gonna follow my line. Now don't forget, this is gonna go over the top, so don't spend too much time doing this. We're just wanting to put some color under here. We wanna get the background out of the way and put some color under here for our margarita. So, got a hair. I am mean to my brushes. I can't even tell you how mean. My brushes probably talk about me when I'm not around. Okay, so real quick, and I'm gonna cover right up into my lime too. Let's see, this is gonna be the, I lost my line, guys. So I really want it to be watery and thin up at the top where there's not gonna be a margarita. But I want to see the background, because if this was actual glass, you would kind of be able to faintly see whatever's behind it. So you don't want to white that out completely. You still want to have a little bit of a visual of that background. So make it fairly sheer. So let's go ahead and do right around the edge, especially where we just drew. Is my head in the way? I'm terrible. Look at my head. I love pear margaritas. Okay, so now that I have some white over here, I'm gonna start with my yellow, just a tiny, tiny amount of that yellow. And I'm gonna go right up to my little line of margarita. and add a little bit of yellow, a little bit more white, tiny bit of yellow. So I'm just bringing in some Margarita color. Don't worry, we're gonna add some green. It's not gonna be a yellow Margarita, even though, you know what my favorite fruit is? Pineapple. So if they had a pineapple Margarita, I am on it. All right, so just a little bit of that color. Now we're gonna work in a little more white over here because it kind of dried up, and we're gonna work with some green. Same thing. Just take a tiny bit of green on your brush, see how much that is? And we're gonna add in some of that green. Need a little water on my brush. Being crazy. Yeah, I already salted my rim. Yeah, what they said. So one of these two colors to kind of blend together, just kind of meld one into the other. Look how cute that is. OMG. We'll put a tiny, get a little water on my brush again. Add a tiny, tiny, tiny bit more. This green is like fighting me. Don't you fight me. I'm gonna add some white to it since it wants to fight. We'll add a little bit more down here. A little green over here. A little yellow over here. Just swap colors back and forth. Diana, I did the salt off camera so that it would be ready because, you know, it takes time to dry. So all I did was take the top of my glass, and just like last time, I put a little bead of glue using Aleene's clear glue, and then I doused it with that white glitter again. Oops, white glitter again, and I'm just letting it dry. Yeah, so you didn't miss anything. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that. I think I want to add a little bit more color, but I need to get this water out of my brush. So I think I'm going to go into my green and add a little more green just on that edge to define that side. There we go. And then we'll kind of do the same thing with the yellow. You rinse. My water's dirty from the gray, but we'll get a tiny bit of that yellow. I'm going to add some white to it. We'll do the same thing over here. Just add a little extra something, something. There. Now this will show the underneath our glass, so you'll be able to see. Okay, so let me think. We need to rinse, and before we put our glass on, this piece of the glass is going to go here. But I want to add like a little highlight of white, like right here, that's fairly opaque. You know, when you're painting actual glass, like painting something that is supposed to be glass, you need to add those highlights because it makes it more realistic. It's making me thirsty too. Making me super thirsty. So let me rinse again. And I'm gonna add one more bit of white. I'm just going to take my same brush and hit that corner, and then I'll kind of run it out. And then I'm going to hit my glass right on the bottom. And I don't know if you can see what a difference that makes. Let me do it again. Up close and personal. So I'm gonna hit my glass like right here, just a line of color, and then we'll hit it over here a line of that white, so you can see that it kind of makes that stand out a little. It gives it a little more realistic. I love Pimm's. Oh, girl after my own heart. I love a Pimm's cup more than life itself. It's my favorite summer drink. Favorite, favorite, favorite. Okay, so now what we need to do is get the sugar off of here, or the salt from the rim. Now we're going to paint our lime. So let me get this back down where we can see it. So here's what we have to remember. This part of the lime here is outside the glass, but that inside part of the lime is inside the glass. So I need to be very careful about that. So the first thing I'm going to do is use another green, which is Americana Hauser Medium, and my plate is losing its mind. I need a new plate because I've totally got too much color on that plate. We'll scooch it up there so we can keep it in reach. But I'm going to put a little bit of green here, and I'm going to get a smaller brush, and I'm going to make that dark green rim. Pimm's is like a derivative of, is it gin? I hate gin too. I can't remember what it's made of, but it's like Pimm's and lemonade, and I can't remember what else goes in it, but it's very refreshing. It's called a Pimm's cup. Okay, so I'm gonna outline my lime really quick with just a little bit of this Hauser medium green. So I'm just gonna get it on my brush, and I'm not gonna go into my glass yet. I'm gonna do just around the outside edge, right on that tracer line. I'm gonna have to turn this as I go. And I'm gonna keep going. So I'm pressing down with a little bit of pressure so that I'm getting that 1/4 inch-ish line. So I'll show you on my plate. If I just barely touch my brush to the surface, I'll have a tiny little line. And then if I press down a little, it's gonna get bigger. If I press down a lot, it'll get super fat. So how big your line is depends on how much pressure you put on your brush. So I'm just gonna continue. One more time, all the way around. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is grab up some of that white off this other plate and make a lighter green, because behind the glass is gonna dilute that color a little, so we don't want it to be, see, I should have put white in my green and not green in my white, or vice versa. We don't want it to be as dark as it is here. So I'm going to continue my line. And we'll mute it back a little too if it's still too dark. There's always a way. See, and that circle is terrible. But we'll fix that too. Not a very good circle. Okay, so now I'm going to get some of that yellow, just a tiny bit. I don't know where the cut in the lime is. Let's see. Now I guess it would be, well, it's just sliced, okay? Like if you had a round circle and you slice it and put it on the rim. I don't know. We're gonna just assume that you can see it. So I'm gonna add a little bit of yellow. I think I need a little white. So I'm just gonna paint, guys. It's hard for me to read and paint at the same time and without losing. Gin-based Pimm's cup. There you go, Diana. So I'm gonna try to just focus on this because sometimes it's hard for me to do both. So let me do this first and then we can chat. I'm just mixing color. Don't even know what I'm doing yet. Just adding a little bit of yellowy green to the inside. Then we'll add some white to give our sections. Probably what we should do is, and I'll adjust that in just a second, hang on. Hang on. I'm gonna wipe this out a little because that should have been distorted in all reality, but what's behind the glass should have been a little distorted. But, you know, I'm not Picasso, doing the best I can. Doing the best I can, so we'll distort it as much as we can. Let's see. It'll be all right. Once the glass goes on, it'll be okay. So now I'm gonna take some white on the same brush, just really white, Plano. It is how you hold your tongue, 100%. 100% how you hold your tongue. So apparently I wasn't holding it right. So I'm gonna take this brush and I'm just gonna kind of work in some sections. No, I'm not trying to be perfect. I'm not trying, you know, to be accurate. I'm not trying to do all those fancy things. We will outline it to give it a little more you know, a little more reality, a little more realism. But for now, I'm just doing the best I can. Okay, so now I think what I'm going to do is rinse. Get that back up there where you can kind of see. I think what I'll do really quick is mix some of that white and yellow together, even though I'm being a little anal, and maybe bring some of that back over the top. Some of that yellow from our drink. How's that? That looks better. It makes me feel better. There we go. Now I'm going to take the same old brush, and I think I'm going to go into the, what was this? The medium blah, blah, blah. Hazard Green Light. It's kind of chunky and thick, but I want to make just some section lines in our line. So I'm just going to take the color on my brush and very lightly just make some lines. Nothing perfect in my lime. Right here. Then I'll add some white to it for here, just barely. All right, now I need to look at it and think what I need. Actually, I kind of like it. I think my green was too dark. So I think what we'll do is come in with a little bit of white. Just tamp that down a little. It's a little too in your face, like me sometimes, a little too in your face. I'm gonna go around the outside edge of this rind too, and it's because it's like a harsh line between the dark green and the light green. So I want to break that up a little. I may add a little yellow to it. I'm just blind by the seat of my pants, guys. Really, I certainly am. Not gonna lie. It's not like I practice this. I rarely practice anything. So we'll add a little color. So there we are. It is what it is. Okay, so really quick, we got to do our little thing down here too. So we're gonna do, this is, I gotta figure out which one is which. Okay, this is this one. We need seeds, don't we? Look at my boo-boo. Oh, it's starting to hurt, y'all. Putting too much pressure on my little boo-boo. So I'm gonna do a little bit of yellow and make ourselves some, that's too much. Make ourselves some little seeds. And I know they're hard to see, but they're there, and we're gonna outline them. Okay? So let's move on to our, see, I keep getting my head in the way because it's just up close and personal. I want to put these where I think they're going to go, like right here and right here. And then we'll decide on this lime. I think right, I think like this. So we'll move that off. And I am going to take a pencil and very lightly trace around my piece of glass so that I'm accurate with the size. It did look juicy, didn't it? I loved it too. So here is my lime slice. So we're just gonna kind of do the same thing. I should have done this all at once, but that would be too easy, wouldn't it? That'd be too easy. So here we go back with the, here, wrong green. A little more of the darker green. We'll go around the outside edge. I'm trying to scoot this where you can see it, and then I can reach it without having my head in. I do need to put my hat on backwards. There we go. Done. Good idea. So let me draw off my brush a little. We're gonna come in and I'm gonna do that rind. So we'll do rind right on the little table. Can you see my head still? You can tell I put my hat on backwards. All right, there's our rind. And I'm gonna come in with a little white on my brush. I'm gonna add some whites. Maybe a tad of yellow. I'm just throwing some color on. And we'll come right in next to it. Give ourselves a little lime. I'm gonna get white again. Right on top of that. Start building that color. All right, now we'll fill it in with just a mixture of white and green. And then we'll darken it up as needed. I don't know why I'm using this tiny little brush. So, we're gonna do a little bit of white. I'm gonna turn this upside down. It'll just be easier to do those sections, but I'm gonna check that you can still see. Yep. So I'm gonna do my little sections. Just a tiny bit of white on my brush. I'm starting flat down, but then I'm twisting as I come up, so it comes into kind of a point. Can you see what I'm doing there? So twist it so it comes to a point. And twist it and twist it. All right, that one turned out much better. Much, much better. So let's make that little green line between, and I may have to tamp that down again. I don't know. We're just going to work with what we have. Clean. Back in the white and hit that again just to take that color down a little. And then we'll make, I think I need to add just a tiny bit of yellow. And now we need some seeds. I've got like 700 brushes out. I don't know what my problem is. A little bit of yellow. Let's make 2 seeds. We'll make one here and one here. 2 little seeds. All right, dudes, this is so cute. I can't even. All right, I gotta put my brushes in the water before I get myself in a pinch. And I think we're done painting. I need to let this dry a little bit. This looks dry, so what we're gonna do is the same thing we did with our other 2. I'm gonna use a little pen. It is a graphic 0.3 needle drawer. It can be a 3 to a 5, anything like that. And it is a tiny tipped little black marker. So it just makes a tiny line. And I like to do this to outline details so that it just makes things pop. So I'm going to try to avoid that right now, and I'm going to go around just skippy the outside, not like coming all the way around. I'm just doing like quick lines. We'll give a little line, dot, dot, dot of where the sections are, and there. So then we had like a little bit of that. I may come over that with some white again. Those are our seeds. And what I want to do as well is bring this line out across the glass. And just, even though there's going to be glass covering that up, it will, just makes a difference to me. I just like it. Kind of makes everything pop. So while I am thinking about it, before I forget, I'm going to hit this seed with a little bit of white again, just to make it stand out. All right, what do you think about so far? So far, so good. I think I want to hit the inside of this rind too. So we'll come to this one, come across, just skippy, come around, a little bit of line, come around your little seeds, and voila. Mama done. What do you think? Is that okay? We still have to do the glass, but is that all right? What do you think? My lime's okay? This one I push back, so, and it'll also get pushed back a little too when we do this. So here's what it'll look like. So we'll put that there, and then this one will go here. Then our little stem here, and the bottom of our glass here, and OMG, y'all, is that not stinking adorable? I can't even. I can, but I can't even. I love this. All right, got to put these away real quick. So real quick, oh, and this is gonna go on here, don't forget. And then this is gonna go on here. Oh my law. Look, is that not cute? Oh, too stinking cute. Okay, get back over there where you belong. Okay, so right now, it's time to mix resin. So I'm gonna take these things back off. I'm gonna leave them right here so I don't forget to put them on. But we are gonna mix a little bit of resin. I have not mixed yet or poured yet, so that looks so cute, doesn't it? So I'm gonna set this aside right here so I don't make a mess. And I am going to mix, I'd actually marked off, actually I think I'm gonna go ahead. I'd marked off a 1/2 ounce and a 1/2 ounce to make 1 full ounce, but I have a cross that has got it's about half resined from yesterday that I need to finish. So I think I'm going to, drinking the tea, I think I'm gonna go ahead and mix that 1 ounce. So I'm gonna put my gloves on. Oh, wouldn't that be cute, Diana? We do need to make a little umbrella drink, don't we? So I'm gonna put my gloves on. So cute. What a perfect thing to paint today, don't you think? I mean, what could be better than painting a margarita, except drinking a margarita? Yes, I'm gonna put those right here so I can remember to put some resin on those. Thanks, Judy. Yes, there is salt on the rim. I did it earlier so it would be dry. So what I did was take the piece of glass, I put a line of glue along the edge, and then I sprinkled glitter. I've already put the glitter up, or I would show you just white glitter on the edge so that there's salt on the rim. Can you see it at all? You can see it in person. It might be harder to see from there, but yes. So I am going to go ahead and mix some resin. I use Art Resin exclusively. It's a 2-part epoxy, 50-50 mix. So let's get this party started. Rima, are you still here? So I'm gonna pour 1/2 ounce of hardener very carefully right up to my little line. All right, we'll stop that. Set this aside so I don't mix up my stuff. Put that there, and I'm gonna pour 1/2 ounce of resin. Oh, Rima, go, I can time, it's okay. It's just, I have to pay more attention if I'm timing. Don't worry about it, we'll find somebody. Go, girl, go. Go do your thing. Go take care of your business. Okay, let me stop. It's kind of catching up. So I have a 1/2 ounce of hardener. Thank you, Debbie. See, Debbie said she would time. A 1/2 ounce of hardener and a 1/2 ounce of resin. So I'm gonna take this clean cup that I've reused all week, okay? And I'm gonna pour both of my parts into this cup and mix it. I'm using a fancy tool. This is actually a facial applicator, whatever, that someone discovered is perfect for resin, and gifted me one, and these are spectacular. I actually bought a whole bunch. They came today. So I'm gonna try to gift. I like to do the gifting too. So I bought a bunch so that I can gift some. So I get it, and this is really great because it's a flexible scrubber thingy. It is really good at getting every drop of resin out of that cup. So there's that. And we'll pour this in. And we'll scrape every bit of resin out too. Oh, the air came on, thank God. I'm about to die. Y'all, it's hot. It's Really been hard to cool this room. Okay, so we got all of that. I'm gonna toss these in the trash. And Colette, Debbie, anybody, if you can start. Miss Judy, we're gonna start now. So let me know when 3 minutes is up. So we time this for 3 minutes if you're new here. This is a 3-minute mix. And so I am just gonna stir and scrape that bottom, scrape those sides to make sure everything is mixed properly so we don't have cake batter on the sides when we get ready. So just stir slowly, like a little mini flexible spatula, yes. So we're gonna stir really slow to try to incorporate as few bubbles as possible, scraping and scraping as we go. We do this for 3 full minutes per manufacturer directions, because how you get a bad pour is improperly measured or improperly mixed resin. If you don't properly measure 50-50 and you mix it together and it's not correctly measured, you end up with a sticky mess. And same thing if you don't mix properly. I'll resin it, Michelle. It's a cross, and I had just a little bit of resin left yesterday, so I poured the resin on the cross as much as I could. And it's one of those pieces that it doesn't really show. Now, if it was a piece that didn't have a lot of glass, no, what I'll do, I'll show you. I'll do it on camera after we are done with this if we have any resin left. I'll show you where I stopped and where I start back, but it's one of those pieces that it won't matter, but I'll show you. I got nothing but time. Nothing but time. So, thanks, Dana. Have a good night. Now I'm craving a margarita, y'all. What am I gonna do? I need a margarita. Anybody have a question? Since I'm just sitting here staring at the wall. My kitty cat's fussing at the door. You can hear me talking. He's not happy about it. Not happy. This is the longest 3 minutes of my life every time. It's like, feels like 3 days. I'm not sure why. See, I wasn't stirring for a minute and Rima would have got me. Somebody's got to yell at me. Thank you, Judy. Oh, I got to do something about these glasses. Okay, so we're going to do this similar to, oh, it's better. I'll show it to you when I get this off, but it hurts. And I can feel that glove sticking to it. I should have put a Band-Aid on it or something. But, yeah, it was actually only in the 80s today here, like the high 80s. So I was pretty excited about that, but I'm sure it won't last. So, oh, drive-through margarita bar. Oh, see? Yay, thanks for sending your lovelies. Thanks for sending them. I have mine put together and we'll be sending it on Monday. Okay, so because we have glass that it lays flat on our canvas, we want to put resin on both sides. We want it on the canvas and on the underside of the glass so that it doesn't leave like an air pocket. So the first thing I'm gonna do is just go ahead and apply resin, a thin coat to my entire, girl, look what you did. See, now I gotta put these under because I made a mess. I scraped it right down the side, so now I'm gonna have, I'll wipe that off with a baby wipe, or my G wipes, my Gina wipes. So I'm going to put a thin coat of resin on the entire piece, just thin enough to cover and suction my glass down. All right, so, Lord have mercy. Oh, if it was 101 here, we'd all be dead. There's so much humidity here, we couldn't survive 101. You'd choke to death. Lord have mercy. 101 in the south and 101 elsewhere is two different temperatures. It's like the Southerners say, it's not the heat, it's the humidity. It will melt your skin. Okay, so I got a thin layer on my piece. So I'm gonna take my first piece, I'm gonna do this carefully. This salt is on the top side, so I'm gonna flip it over and I'm gonna put a little bit of resin on the back side of my piece so that it suctions down really nicely. Let me flip it this way because I want to have resin on both sides. And then I will place it in its spot. Oh, I just put my boob. No! My favorite shirt, I just put my boob in. Oh my God. Ugh. Lord have mercy. Okay, now I'm gonna do this piece. So I'm gonna put a little bit of resin. Everything I own has resin on it. And it's always in the boob area. Oh my Lord. I can't have anything nice. Well, my hair's so straight. Sharon, my hair's so bone straight that it don't matter about my hair. Oh my Lord, I stuck my boob right in there. I'm gonna go put it right in the washing machine. Hopefully it won't matter. Golly. My favorite shirt from Sarah has resin on the boob too. My boobs are not big. They just got in the way. Not big at all. That's an understatement. Okay, so I put resin on my little stick. Okay, we're going to add more resin to it, but I want to cover it. Make sure it's nice and covered. Then we're going to do the same thing with the little base. Well, you know what, Diane? I have an apron on the floor next to me to wear. Actually, I brought it, look, specifically, I'll show you, look, specifically to wear because I have one of my favorite shirts on. Did I put it on? Obviously not. Obviously not, because my brain doesn't work that great. I need to scoot that over just a little. Okay, so same thing. I'm gonna take this little piece. I swear, I have 100 aprons. I just can't remember to put them on. So I'm covering this with resin, and I am gonna lay it right here on top, up this way, on top of our lime. So cute. And this last little piece, we'll do the same thing. I'm gonna scoop up some resin and I'm just gonna run it all over, blah, blah, blah. And we'll put it right here where it goes, right on that lime. Oh my God, I love this so much. This is so stinking cute, I can't even breathe. Okay, so now I'm such a hot mess here. I am going to just take some more resin and I am going to drizzle it right on top of these glass pieces to ensure they're stuck down nicely. And cover. You get right on top of that salt. This is so cute. Y'all, I might have to go get me a margarita. Right up on there. Yeah, I don't even know why I bothered. You know, I had a bunch of errands to run today before I went on lockdown. And so I put on this shirt because I love it. And, you know, apparently I just need to wear my pajamas and house shoes out, because I can't be trusted. All right, we have a little bit of resin left. I'm gonna take these off before I torch. Ugh, so nasty. And I wanna check my boobage. I'm gonna get a baby wipe really quick. They're not baby wipes, they're organic wipes. And I'm going to wipe my hands off a little bit. And I have to make sure it's not on my boob. Get any of it off that was on it. Actually, I'm on lockdown because in 2 weeks, I'm going to a mastermind with some other artists. We're having a little mastermind. And so we all agreed to be on lockdown for 2 weeks before our mastermind so that we made certain that none of us were out doing crazy stuff and getting G-wipes. That's what they are. Nobody was out doing crazy stuff getting sick. So it's just courteous, and we're all just trying to make sure we take care of each other. Okay, so now that I don't want to touch that, it's super icky. So I want to make sure I have done all the things I'm supposed to do before I start doing this. This needs to be moved down a little. Make sure that's sitting right. So I am going to pop any bubbles that are in my piece with my little blowtorch. Just a quick once over. Oh, I'm about out of steam. That booger is what burned me yesterday. Here's my burn. Here's my little boo-boo. It hurts so bad. It's a nasty little blister. It's nasty. So this is done. Okay, OMG. Actually, I'm gonna take this baby wipe and where I had resin on the side. Let me get that off. Now I am gonna give you a little close up. Here is the top. Can you see the salt on the rim? And then here's our little lime at the bottom. Is that super cute or what? So really quick, since I still have resin, I'm gonna grab my cross that is half done. So I'll show you what has happened. I'm gonna turn these this way. So I had extra resin yesterday, but I only had enough to do this portion. So I just left it really jaggedy, okay? I didn't leave like a straight line, and I tried to only do that section. It ran down here, so I just left it jaggedy. So what I'm gonna do now is put some more gloves on, because I'll have to use my fingers a little. That would be cute too. I'm not gonna do that, but it would be super cute. I don't know, maybe, I don't even know if I have any clear glass here. Let me, hang on, Colette, hang on. I don't think I have some. Oh yes, I do. I have the teeniest, tiniest amount of clear. Most of my glass is downstairs because that's where I pack it. But let's see if we can add just a few snippets, at least to the one on the bottom. So I'm gonna just get a little handful. Let's see if I can scoot this back over. And let's put it just right in there. Good idea. And then we'll put a few little nuggets in here. Hang on. See, I don't have but a teeny tiny amount, and I don't want to put debris in. So hang on. I'll have to add some more resin. We might not be able to add resin to our cross. That's all right. Let me get that out of the way. Oh, I could steal the glass off the cross, actually. It's not down. Okay, Colette, that was a good idea. Look how cute. And it'll, once I put the resin on it, see there's a hair. Cat hair probably. It'll be more sheer, so let's try that. Let's put that in. Oh, okay, so here we go. Let's add more resin in here to that clear glass we added. Definitely gives it dimension. Put some down here. We still could do the cross, at least part of it. Thank you, Colettes. That was a good idea. Okay, how's that? What do you think? Just a tiny amount of glass inside our limes. I love that.